All right. What is up, everybody? Excuse me. Goodness. Give me just a second here. The question I have before every live stream is like whether I'm going to wear socks or not. You know, you sit here, you drink whiskey all night, you get kind of hot, and then you want to take your socks off. You know, but it's like, do you wear socks or do you not wear socks? Anyways, that's what's going on in my head right now. What's up? So got some fun things planned for this evening. I think it's going to be a good live stream. The topic of tonight, we got a couple different things that I'm going to be doing. This Lux Row 12 thing, which I kind of mulled over with members of the Patreon community, you know, asking them like, is this too specific of a thing to do on a Thursday night live stream to dive into one specific? Sarah just texted me. I got to turn my notifications off so I don't get dings in my ears. But it's like, is Lux Row 12 diving into one product like this so deeply? Is that going to be too specific or not? I don't know. I decided to go for it. And so I think not only am I going to talk about these Lux Row 12s, these 3 different batches, and give one away, which this is going to be the giveaway tonight, which I'm really excited for. I think, you know, this is a great bottle to give away. Pretty much distillery only. Fantastic stuff, which is another reason I'm excited to drink 3 of them tonight. But hopefully also maybe offer some alternatives, products that these might remind you of, things that you could either readily get or maybe that are semi-limited that can kind of take the place of this. And this does have a high suggested retail price. So I don't know if it's too specific. That's all I'm saying. But I decided to go, and Andrew says, no socks, no undies. No, man, I got, never mind. Another thing we're going to take a look at tonight, you guys saw this on your way in on the close cam trademark, is this, come on, give us the focus. There we go. This brand new Nulu pick, none other than the hardcore ADHD Matt Madness. Going to dive into this. I know a lot of you out there picked up this bottle from Matt. Look at the color, by the way. I mean, jeez Louise. This is behind it, I know, but look, even when it's not behind it, it's pitch black, man. It's a beautiful color for a whiskey. So I'm going to taste and review this. And on my side table here, I do have a 4-pour blind flight ready to go. All right. So give me just a second. Amy is in here. I need to get my super chat tracking happening. All right. So I need to pull up my super chat tracker before we get started. So I've got Amy's sheet in here somewhere. Amy, I just responded to your email where you sent the Google sheet for tracking, that new one. But I know this is super last minute, so I'll pull this up here and get going on the super chat tracking. Guys, on your way in, please hit that like button. Let's get a few more folks in here. Even though, again, we have kind of a specific topic tonight. I think, as with every live stream on Drums and Drams, we're gonna venture off. We'll find our way back, but we're gonna venture off. Okay. So yeah, kind of a 3-part stream in a way. Lux Row 12 discussion, Matt's pick from Nulu, which I think maybe I'll start with Matt's. I think that's a good thing to start with. Actually, because of this, Cohen. Amy says if you can, yeah, Amy, I can access it for sure. I had it pulled up actually a second ago, right when I emailed you back. Here, let me get this pulled up here. So there's the number of entries, and those are the people's names, I would imagine. So yeah. All right, so super chat tracking. Amy's got it sounds like, which is awesome. Thank you, Amy. I got to get a first pour, and I wanted my first pour to be this Turkey 101 12 year because I wanted to revisit this now that it's gotten a little bit of air. I know I said it was a little ethanol forward on the front end a few live streams ago. I said it tasted kind of younger on the front end, but the mid palate was really nice. So let's see what's going on with this. Before I dive too deep, let me just say cheers to you guys. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Let me know what's in your glass. Let's have a good Thursday night. Hopefully everyone's had a decent week. I'm exhausted. It's just last week and this week are both crazy weeks at work for me, and then I have a week off starting on Monday, so I need that. All right, I'll just put it that way. So, cheers, guys. That turkey 12-year has gotten a lot better. A lot better. Wow. So I think Dustin, if Dustin's in here, Dustin P, maybe mentioned to me that you got to get some air into these turkey 12-year bottles. I think that's completely accurate. All right. So I need to go back and check. Okay, Amy, I see the sheet updating now with Hendo. That's awesome. So let me go back and check the chat real quick. Let me get my banner up. I know I'm moving slow. I'm sorry. It's been a day. Gets you one giveaway entry for a bottle of Lux Row 12 or a sample pack of tonight's pours. Let's do that. Boom. So we're going to throw this banner up, scrolling. There it is. So yes, every $5 super chat gets you one entry into tonight's giveaway. I'm watching Amy live track these on a Google Sheet, which is cool. First prize after 7 spins of the randomizer at the end of tonight's stream. Lux Row 12-year. SRP, I want to say, is like $175, $150. It's not cheap. And again, we're gonna talk about this exact bottle. I have this exact bottle open here from the same batch. All right, so I can give you some tasting notes on it. And the second place winner for tonight's giveaway is going to win a sample pack of these 3 Lux Rows, Matt's ADHD Nulu pick, which is, well, you'll see. I'll taste it. And then whatever 4 pours Sarah put in the blind flight, I told her to put good stuff in it. It might not be Dusty's, but it's going to be good stuff. You're going to win all of those. So I don't even know what that's going to be, but that's the second place winner. First prize, Lux 12. All right. So I'm going to just scoot through here. Christine and Mark, what is up, you two? Speaking of Christine and Mark, I think I might drink a little Gold Spot because Cohen said tomorrow is National Irish Whiskey Day. So why not pour a little Gold Spot right now? It sounds like something that would be good. Let's see. Let's get a fancy glass. Let's get a little, not too fancy, not the Ben Ewan, but let's just get a stemmed glass for some Irish. All right. In honor of tomorrow. Shauna, what is up? Bourbon Lane, Patrick, Steel 11. Andrew, I see a Bourbon Neophyte. Cheers to you. Mark says no socks at the moment. Nice. Joe Dickinson, Sugar Kitty. Just scrolling through Hendo. Jeb. A 4th? You talking about the Luxes? Yeah, Cohen, I think Lux Rows, Lux 12s are 150 or 175, something like that. There he is, Matt Porter. We're gonna trash his terrible pick here in a second. Tell you how bad it is. I can't even say that with a straight face. I can't even get through the sentence. I was texting about it yesterday, like, dude, this thing is serious. Dave, I see you. Russ, hello, everybody. Scrolling through. All right, real quick before we start tracking tonight's giveaway entries, I see Hendo, I see JG, guys. All the giveaways that I owe people, Patreon, the Patreon ones I just feel really bad about. I have the Keith Thompson and Jake McKee December, January, end of the month giveaways. I just feel so bad, guys. I'm so sorry. Everything's packed up, and everything's packed up. Bottles from last week's giveaway and all the samples. It ended up being 10 boxes, 6 sample packs, and 4 bottles. Not all of them were from giveaways, but it's just stuff I owed people. And then tonight's stuff, which I have the sample bottles ready to go and the cardboard boxes ready to go. So tomorrow, all of these boxes are going to go out, okay? I am so sorry that I got so behind on all this craziness, but yeah, work just took over, and I have to just prioritize at times like this so that I don't crash my cymbals in the wrong place, you know? Eric, how much for an entry? $5. Every $5 super chat, for instance. Will Henderson, thank you, man. Hendo, $10 super chat, 2 entries into the giveaway for the randomizer at the end. So that's kind of how it works. Eric, just so you know. DeMarcus, what's up? And DeMarcus, you got a package that I owe you as well. Heading your way. So Here we go. Leaving for Japan next week. Can't wait to hunt. Yeah, if you can find this turkey 12, get 3 of them. Especially at the cost over there, which someone said was like $50. We got some banana whiskeys in the house. The Woodford Double Oak, 1792 foolproof pick. People drinking on some banana, but also both of those are pretty flavorful without that banana note too. Yes. D-Rag and Derek, I got your email, and I'm so sorry I haven't responded to that. I have to pass along people's information too from last week, so my email is the last thing that I need to catch up on. But thanks for the reminder, and I apologize again. Jeb says, hell of a giveaway. Yeah, I hope so. I hope we get a lot of entries here and everything like that, but somebody's going to walk away with the Lux 12, which is very exciting. Jay, thank you for the $5 super chat, man. Cheers to you. All right, let's pour a little. So look, I am not familiar with any of the Spot Irish whiskeys besides Blue Spot, which I think is good. It's fine. I think I prefer the Redbreast 12-year cask strength over the Blue Spot, and I think I might prefer Blue Spot over the Redbreast small batch cask strength. But the other spots, gold, red, green, yellow, I don't know them. So this is gold. I have no idea what the finishing is on here. I'll look it up later, unless someone wants to tell me in the chat. I believe there are some different finishes blended together, if I'm not mistaken. But, I wasn't planning on drinking this necessarily, but tomorrow's National Irish Whiskey Day. I mean, every day is a national something day. What's up, Brian? I don't know about Cowboy. Derek says Lux 12 is up to 180 now. Goodness. Thank you, William Hall. Hell yes, I am in. Awesome. Thank you. 4 entries for the giveaway. Now we got Shauna jumping in with 2 entries as well. Shauna in for 2 entries, $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Wow. Gold Spot. A little bit floral here. Lots of like strawberry jam and apple kind of character to this thing. I really like this. Super caramelized, like very toffee heavy on this whiskey. And for an Irish whiskey, a lot of times Irish gives me kind of like vegetal notes, kind of green. That triple distillation, I think, is a big part of that. This Gold Spot kind of bucks that trend. It feels really full-bodied, John Cloud, good evening. Good to see you, man. Did somebody mention anything about the finishes on this Gold Spot by chance? If anybody knows. Keith Thompson, $20 super chat. Where's my phone? It's in my pocket. Usually I have it propped up here on the table and I can see them come in. Awesome. Okay, so I see some super chats coming in here as well. Wow, we have 93 in the house. We haven't started officially into the stream, into the topics for tonight, which the first one is going to be Matt Porter's ADHD pick before the Lux 12 madness and then the blind flight. But wow, guys, 93 in here. Please hit that like button. That is amazing. So Amy, I can edit this too, actually, can't I? So Adam Baskerville is in for 1. Need to figure out how to zoom. It's so small here. Adam Baskerville's in for 1, Amy, and then Andrew Surfling says, cheers to No Sock Whiskey Nation. So Andrew Surfling is in for 2. There we go. Got it. Wow. Cool. So here we go. Gold Spot, bourbon, port, sherry, and Bordeaux wine casks. Yeah, it definitely comes across like there's some stuff going on here. At least 9 years old, says Mark. Oh, 51.4. I really like that. And again, I'm not a big Irish whiskey fan or expert. I guess I'm becoming more of a fan, I should say. But Definitely not an expert, not super hip to all of it. I really, really like that. Alex is pairing a Wendy's $5 biggie bag with some Lux Row 12. All right, and Keith Thompson, I got you in 4 entries. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. To the old Venmo. All right. Judd Tucker in for 2. Thank you. And Will Barrett drinking ECBP 519. What a pour. I like that one. Low proof. That's the 61.1%. But it's really good for that proof. Really, really good. Tyler, never had Irish, just a bourbon and rye guy. Irish more like bourbon or Scotch. Definitely more like Scotch. But a lot of bourbon drinkers prefer Irish over Scotch, which I think is interesting. I'm not sure why that is. It's a little cleaner of a profile with a triple distillation, whereas Scotch is usually double distilled. But some Scotch is triple distilled, Hazelburn. But I think people like it because it's more stripped down. You don't get quite as much of that huge malty barley thing going on. I mean, I don't know. That's just my assumption, I guess. I know, Andrew, you meant casks, but I'll take sherry, Bordeaux, and port cakes as well. John Cloud, I'm in it to win it too. What's the giveaway? The giveaway, Lux Row 12. And second place is a sample flight. D. Raglan in for 4th. Looking forward to the show. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for the $20 super chat. That is awesome. You and John, I appreciate it, you guys. And Christine Vasco in for 1. Scent pick of Gold Spot bottle with info. Awesome. Okay, I'll check it. Check it out. Okay. Autocorrect always does Andrew dirty. Let's get into Matt's bottle. Okay, I'm going back to this Wild Turkey 12-year again on the nose. Heck of a whiskey. You definitely need to give that thing time in the bottle. Get some air to it. Here we go. Wow. Jeez Louise, Toshi Bake. Man. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. I appreciate it. If you wanna drop one directly to me, Venmo, and not give YouTube their 35%, whatever it is, there it is. I'll throw it up on the screen there. And I'll make sure Amy gets it in for you, or I'll put it in here. But Cohen, where is Seabus's one and only Irish Whiskey Fanatic State? That's hilarious. Let's see. Jay Porter, I see you're going to black. No, actually, I just forgot to put I was going to wear a hoodie for the stream, but I forgot to put it on. I've been trying to get away from the black tea, you know? Someone commented on a video and said, hey, man, good to see you in something other than a black tea. I'm like, okay, maybe I should stop that. I'll get accused of copying someone else. That just seems to be the way it goes. Jay Porter, love you, Cam. Yeah, I know. Oh, man. Toshi, thank you, man. $50 super chat. That is incredible. And, dude, that William LaRue, let me know how it is if you've tried it. Hopping on late, evening cam and all, met up with Nancy. Thank God. I'm so glad you guys worked that out. Okay. Can't wait to get into all the bottles she dropped off. 2 Magnus Cigar, 2 finished J. Henry & Sons, Nancy Still Austin Pick, and a sample of 1930 Armagnac. Damn, dude. What a freaking, what a haul. Nancy is awesome. William, yeah, I used to have that. Maybe in a copy paste at some point, I've lost my Venmo PayPal info in my description. That kind of stinks. All right. So let's get into Matt Porter's pick here. Again, the new hardcore pick, toasted bourbon, finished in apple brandy. So what's cool about this is that it first went into a toasted barrel and then gets finished apple brandy. I've seen the reverse of this process, right? Where have I seen it? Well, with Good Times. So I don't know how much credence that holds. But usually with some of these things, you'll see them go into a finishing barrel. Let's say apple brandy, port, sherry, whatever. And oftentimes it gets over-finished, and a way to kind of go back and correct the over-finishing is to try to throw it into a toasted barrel after the fact. Now, I don't think that always works. I think sometimes it just complicates matters with the whiskey. In this case, it's interesting to go toasted first, give the whiskey, in my opinion, what does a toasted barrel do? Yes, it imparts extra oak. Oftentimes, it's not the kind of oak I like, and I know Matt Porter's the same way. But it gives the whiskey more body, and in my opinion, it gives it more of like a... This is a dumb analogy, but like it almost gives it a shield, so that when the finishing cask, like the apple brandy in this case, is coming at it, I think it stands up to that cask a little bit better, as opposed to just absorbing all of the influence from the apple brandy finishing cask. So if you want to have a shield and arrows coming at you, the arrows of the apple brandy, whatever metaphor you want to use, that's the way I'm thinking of this whiskey. And on the nose, this thing is just exploding with flavor, and it's not particularly apple forward on the nose. You can tell me it's apple brandy finished, and I would believe you, but it really comes off more like red fruits on the nose. More like a kind of just a dark cherry. Almost has like a... I mean, I know this is MGP, but you almost get like Heaven Hill vibes from this in some ways, because I think of that toasted barrel, actually, that was used first. But one thing about it, it is so finished with a toasted and an apple brandy that it feels a little bit closed off. This is typical. You know, how do you open a whiskey like that up? A drop of water, time in the glass. You can whip it around a little bit. Although Julian Van Winkle might be pissed about that. And some other whiskey tubers too. So I think it's a little closed off. Another way to get through a closed off whiskey is just to take a sip and go back to the nose. You kind of acclimate to it, and it becomes a little bit more readable at that point. So cheers. Let me know in the chat if you guys have this pick from Matt, the hardcore pick. Oh my goodness. That thing is so concentrated, like so much flavor per square milliliter in that thing. It's crazy because on the nose, it feels more fruity than it does toasted. Like more fruit than it does oak on the nose for me. Then you get it on the palate, and just like any... I don't want to say this the wrong way, just like any toasted MGP bourbon, you get that breakfasty kind of like maple syrup, almost like spicy sausage, like that kind of sensation, you know, like the spiciness of like a breakfast sausage or something. Very peppery, very kind of brown sugar maple, that thing. That is so intense on the palate, and it makes the finish last forever. Like it's still going, black pepper. You know, kind of Kentucky hug thing. But the fruit does come along for the ride kind of in the mid palate for me. But chocolate and just super rich super rich caramels and brown sugars. And kind of like a black cherry thing. Wow. Bourbon Neophyte says, 108 watching, only 50 likes. Guys, come on. Please. We have 114 now, at least on my count. Please hit that like button. That would really, really help the channel. It's free. Man, I'm getting like vanilla and marshmallow on this thing now, but any notes that I call on this that are outside of like the red fruit, apple brandy, or the really like toasted MGP, those are the backbones of the whiskey, and then any note I call outside of that is kind of like coming and going, you know, stuff that I pick up on. Like vanilla marshmallow is not my first thought on this whiskey. It's just something that I get as I sit and sip it. But Matt, this might be one of the best, if not the best picks that I think Matt has done. And I think I've ordered almost every one of his picks. The new riffs I missed. One of the knobs I missed. Lob Creek. Unfortunately, I really wanted that one. And there might be one other that I've missed. But most of Matt's picks I've gotten, and I think this is easily top 3, if not the absolute top. Tony, I think given the profile of anything coming from Turkey, it's more air, more time to breathe is not going to be a bad thing for those, just because, you know, you're talking about a spicy profile. So I think in that case, it's just going to be good to let it open up and develop some of the fruitier notes, which, you know, you get a lot of cherry stuff with wild turkey. It's not always immediately evident for me. Sometimes it's just masked by white pepper and cinnamon and just like good old ethanol. It is wild turkey after all. Paul says, saving you fees and sending entries through Venmo. Oh, thank you, Paul. Oh, wow, a lot of you guys sent through. So, Amy, we have Amy, we have 2 entries from Eric Sawyer. Eric, thank you so much. Eric Sawyer with 2. Paul, in with 2 as well. Judson Tucker in for 2. So we got, I see Paul there. I see Eric. She's got it. She's got it. Judson Tucker in for 2. And then Tony Domer in for 1. Thank you, guys. Oh, my goodness. All right, and I missed this one. Central KY Bourbon Hunter says never had the Lux Row 12. Well, it might be your lucky day to have it, whether it's the bottle or the sample giveaway. Thank you for the 2 entries for the giveaway, for supporting the channel. Appreciate it. Okay. Toshi doesn't want to overhype the William LaRue. It's 07, man. That's good. That's pretty crazy. Actually, you know, Toshi, do you know the date of distillation? It's probably a 12 and a half or 12, something along those lines. If it was distilled in 94, that's my birth year, man. Just, I guess it's either probably 94 or 95. Cohen, I have not seen the Nutua Copita glass. Yeah, I'd like to see it. I don't like the regular one, so I'd be curious to see that one. Matt, man, you did a hell of a job with this pick. I don't know what else you were working with, like what other samples you tried, or this is so good. And you know, congrats on selling out so fast. I think you went through this barrel quickly. Patrick Knight, first time watching, caught you on the BJ's channel last week. First timer should definitely win tonight. Patrick, thank you for the super chat. 4 entries for the giveaway as well. Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. You're in for 4. Good luck. Fingers crossed for all you guys entering the giveaway. All right. I'm going to scroll down, and we're going to get into Lux Row 12 now. Oh, Toshi, I forgot you. I think you said this to me, actually. Distilled in 96 or 97. It's young, but man, if it's whiskey that was distilled back then, that's probably not gonna matter. Amy, if you guys do throw in to Venmo, if you guys go Venmo for the entries, just tag Amy in the chat and let her know how many that you entered, just to make sure she sees it. I will check here, but sometimes I get behind on those. But if you do go straight to Venmo, just know that I really, really appreciate it. I know you don't get the kudos on screen from the super chat, but it really helps, you know. All right. Let's get into this. It's a Lux Row 12-year 3-way. And then we're going to do a blind flight. So let's talk about what's going on here. And I would love any of the chat's input as we move along through this Lux Row 12 tasting. You know, whether you have speculative information, you have experience with your own batch of this that I might not be tasting tonight. Anything, let me know in the chat. Tasting notes, of course, as we go through this, but I know I do the Tuesday taste along sometimes whenever I have a Tuesday evening that I can do it. I want to treat this in some ways like that, like really, you know, kind of interact on this one, because I think this is a product that, frankly, is underhyped. I know it's a high SRP, but I just mean in terms of quality of the product. I'm not talking like, oh, this should have a $500 secondary market price. That's not what I'm saying. I just think for what this is, and the fact that you can kind of go to the distillery and pick one up pretty easily, I can't believe more people aren't talking about it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and pour all 3 of these out. I'll tell you about each of these 3 batches in terms of when I picked them up, and also the barrels, because the front of these bottles, as you can see here, in just a second when this focuses, you can see that the front of these bottles has information on all the barrels, right? It has the date of that barrel, like when the new make went into the barrel, and it has a barrel number. Okay, this one's smudged, and the one that I'm giving away tonight is unfortunately kind of smudged as well. It's less smudged. I apologize if you don't want a smudgy bottle, but I mean, the whiskey is still the whiskey. But I'll give you kind of all the information for each of these, and I don't expect you to kind of remember it, but I think it's worth noting at the beginning of this, just so there's a little point of reference here. Okay. All right. Cohen says, Barton or MGP for this. You guys tell me what you've heard about it, but I'm pretty sure this is Heaven Hill. Like, Luxco sources so much of their stuff from Heaven Hill, at least they were, with the MGP acquisition. Who knows how all that's going to go over the next couple years. We've seen an introduction of the Old Ezra 7-year rye, now using MGP rye. But by and large, I think it's pretty assumed that this is Heaven Hill. Eric, got 2 winners tomorrow night for Matt Madness. Who's up against who on that? Who is up against who? I have to go look at the thumbnail real quick. I know it's on the thumbnail for tomorrow night. What do we got here? Jason, Dusty Dan, and Jeffrey Wack. I'm going Jeffrey Wack. And we've got Clifton, Brian, and Trev. Ooh. You know, I'm going to go Jeffrey Wack and Clifton are my predictions for tomorrow night. Those are my predictions. Derek says it's Heaven Hill. Yeah, I mean, I think all signs point to Heaven Hill on this stuff. So, all right, this is what I've got. I have 2 of these already open. The first one, maybe I should just show you up close. The first Lux Row 12. Try to keep this thing focused as I change out the bottles. I'll talk about all of them right now on this close camera. So here we go. There it is. So this one has dates on it of 7/11/06. Both barrels, and you can see these are sister barrels. The numbers are numerically in order. 505, 8629, and 28. All right, so this is the first one, and this bottle, not the exact bottle, but from the exact same batch, I got my first one in 2020. All right, so at that time, this could have been anywhere from 12 to like 13 and a half years old. I don't know when it was dumped, but we definitely know it's at least 12 years old. But this was a batch that was released. I picked my first one of these up in 2020. All right, the next one, and I'm going from left to right for you guys. The next one, wow, that focus shifted fast. Let's bring it back here. Get it onto my hand. Come on. This one is a different age, right? So January 14 of 08 for this barrel, or for this batch. And the 2 barrels blended into this batch are pretty far apart. I don't know what that means, but it's just worth noting. And that bottle was purchased in 2021. So it's an 08 to 2021. So again, 12, maybe 13 years old, depending on the dump date. Now this last bottle, which is the one I'm giving away tonight, it's kind of hard to read here, but we have the 7/11/06, so the same date as my first barrel. And then here's a January 29/07. All right. So pretty different barrels, different lots, whatever, different runs, however you want to refer to that. But this was purchased just a few weeks ago. And the stuff that's coming out of the Lux Row 12s right now, the barreling dates are still 06, 07, 08. And the rumor is that this is 15 to 16-year-old bourbon in these batches. So presumably what's being, God, I can't talk. Got something in my throat. Presumably what's being given away tonight is like a blend of 15 and 16-year bourbon in here. So I don't know. So that's the setup, all right? I've always loved this first batch I got. The second batch is wildly different. And the third batch, the one I just cracked, I don't really have an opinion on it just yet in terms of flavor profile. I like it. I haven't sat with it long enough to really figure it out. Last bit of information here. The reason this is called Lux Row 12-year double barreled is because it's not a single barrel product. It's a double barrel in the sense that there's only 2 barrels per batch. And who is the master distiller here? Jeez. I can't remember his name. Is it John, what's his last name? Not Metz. It's Greg Metz, but is it Rempe? John Rempe? Is that who I'm thinking of? Anyways, he says that he picks 2 barrels that complement each other, and those are the 2 barrels that get blended. So there is some selection going on. I don't think it's just a random thing of dumping 2 barrels at a time and putting them into these batches. But it is interesting that they saved some of these back from those same lots and are now releasing them at an older age. What's up, Roy? So Jeb has another blend. I've seen this blend coming out quite a bit recently, which is the 71116 and the 12907. Different barrels, but yeah, Dustin, sorry, I'm passing that info along tomorrow. I'm sorry, man. I've been doing one thing at a time. That's the only way I can function, trying to parse these things out. Yeah, Mark says that's quite literally the smallest batch, unless you blended from a lot of barrels, but you only blended like 100 mils. So this is the thing. There you go. What Derek says here. If this is 15-year-old Heaven Hill and metallic purple on the top and not copper, we'd be looking at a $2,000 bottle. Exactly. So let's get into it. Oh, what's up, Taylor? Yeah, Taylor, in for 2 on the Venmo. Thank you so much, man. Awesome. In for the old Lux Row. Appreciate it. Yeah, yeah, Mark. So it's just funny. So this is called double barrel. But sometimes when you say double barrel, you think of the double barreled, like the Parker's Heritage recently released. So, okay, let's get into it here. So I'm going to go first to the first bottle, which is 12 or 13 years old, 71106, both barrels. I've always said this is a great, amazing batch. One of my favorite whiskeys I own, period, end of story. It's that good. And I've always said if you guys find the 71106 date, buy, all of them at SRP. So on the nose, this is just dark fruit. Super dark. You could almost mistake this for like an Armagnac finish. And it's got some kind of like funky, wet oak smell to it, you know? And just incredible. It for the longest time, I knew it wasn't possible. These are labeled Kentucky straight bourbons. I thought this first batch of Lux had to be MGP, even though it's labeled Kentucky. It smells like 15-year 36 rye MGP. Those just super dark fruit notes. It's incredible. Coming in with a little bit of apple now, green apple. But primarily dark fruit, really funky oak. Just, again, you could repackage this batch of Lux Row 12, which I've looked around for backups. I've only found this one backup. You could put a $1,500 price tag on this and put it in a BTAC bottle and nobody would bat an eye. No joke. Oh my God, man. That is insane. Whoever wins the bottle tonight, Whoever wins the Lux Row, I'm going to send you samples of these 2 opens. Not the other one because it's the same exact bottle. I'll send you samples of the opens as well as the second place giveaway winner who's going to win the sample pack because I want you to be able to do this side by side. Man, that is just insane. Glad I only drink Kentucky's finest Beam Star. All right, we got Matt Rainey in for 1. Cheers, everyone. First time catching a live show. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, Matt. I appreciate you being here. And I appreciate the super chat and everything else, man. Cheers to that. So, Keith, how does Lux Row 12 differ from ECBP? This is part of what I want to do tonight. I want to find an alternative to these. If, obviously these are pretty much distillery only. So I want to find between the 3 profiles, which are all going to be pretty different, I want to talk about them and then see if I can find an alternative that generally speaks to this profile. And yeah, the go-to if you're thinking Heaven Hill of this age would be Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. But this first one, to me, absolutely resembles nothing of an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. It's not. There's almost nothing in common. I will grab some and pour them once we get to that. But it's like that might not actually be the best substitute for these. Yeah, Judd, I believe it's a distillery. I got mine at a store in northern Kentucky, but it was like light distribution, I think, to some stores in Kentucky as well. Because I did not get it at the distillery. So Taylor says, got the party you dominating Dan last week. Those crashes. Awesome, man. Yeah, that was fun. Last week was really fun. Lots of streaming last week. I had to recover from that. Eric Hart, and for 1, cheers, bro. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, man. And I see Amy getting all you guys right now in the spreadsheet in front of me. Thank you so much, Amy. That's awesome. Sugar Kitty, I don't have the Parkers to compare it to, unfortunately. I just had a sample, and it's all gone. Robotic with 1 entry. Been a while. I'm on a 60-day no alcohol challenge, but there's no way I'm missing a Lux Row 12 stream. I'm staring at my... Oh, I'm sorry to do that to you. Thanks for the super chat, Robotic, and good luck on the 60-day no alcohol challenge. That is a challenge. And James Lay wants some Lux in his life. All right. So now, I told you about the first one. Tastes like old MGP. Super dark fruits. Funky, wet oak, and kind of leathery, I guess, but it's not a prominent thing. And then it comes in with a little green apple at some point, and there's definitely a clove note to this too. Yeah. Tobacco. That's the one I missed on this first one. Tobacco. All right. Now, moving on to the second one, which, again, just a reminder, this is... Let's try to get this thing to focus. Come on. Come on. We can do it. Just a reminder, the second barrel is the 2008, 11408. I cannot believe my camera. I got to start a new camera fund and a new laptop fund. All of these things are not functioning well. There you go, 11408 on this second barrel. And this second barrel, or batch, not barrel, sorry. There are each 2 barrels. This is peanuts. This is peanuts and dark chocolate. It's chocolate syrup, espresso, but extremely heavy-handed. Like, that's the best way to put it. It's not fruity at all. I mean, you could convince me there are actually some higher-toned fruit notes in here, like apricot, maybe some cherry, but it's not a prominent thing like the first batch. This smells like Heaven Hill that's been in a barrel just a little bit too long, actually. Kind of a mineral character to this, and I don't mean that as much as like a George Dickel profile, but there's just something when you smell this, it smells gritty. It smells almost like when if you guys, I do pour over coffee in the morning, right? And when you're doing that, and there's like, you've got your coffee grounds, and you've got the water on top. It's like if you took that and you tried to like drink the water with the coffee grounds in it, like a finely ground coffee, it would be weird, right? It'd be gross. You'd have all that texture on your tongue. This smells like it would have that texture. Does that make sense? But it's totally chocolate-covered peanuts. So if you gave this to me in a blind, I think I could pretty definitively call that Heaven Hill, if not even go so far as to say it's Jim Beam. So totally different. And a little bit of a chili pepper spice in this one. So oaky. Actually, the sweetness is really sweet, though. The sweetness on this reminds me of Old Fitz 17, which I know that's a weeder. I don't believe these are weeded bourbons. Although I don't know that I've ever seen confirmation of, like, what this mash bill is, if it's a ride mash bill, but I'm sure it's a ride mash bill. But this tastes like Old Fitz 17 with all of that really dense chocolate kind of thing going on. So that's number 2. Man, it's heavy on the back end. Really heavy on the back end. It's not unpleasant, but it's just a lot in a whiskey. All right, so that's 1 and 2. Toshi Bake, you got Bones Jones or Cyril Gahn this weekend. Okay, look, if I put my money on it, I'm going John Jones. If I put my heart on it and what I want Gahn to win. All right, so I think Gahn's going to give him a hard time. You know, Bones is not some guy that's going to bounce around the outside like that. I mean, he's not that quick in that way. So I think Gahn's going to be a challenge for him, but I don't think Gahn, if he gets into an adverse situation, I don't think he's going to come through that. I guess is what I want to say. Keith says, legit question wasn't being a smart. What did you ask again, Keith? I think I pulled it up, right? Oh, yeah, no, I know you weren't. You were asking if how does it differ from ECBP? Well, they're all really different. So far, none of them resemble ECBP because I should have mentioned this earlier. The proof on these Lux Row 12s is 118.4. They're all that. They call it cask strength, but that's not entirely true. They're not all coming out the same at 118.4. So there's some shenaniganery going on in here, some shenanigans. But I don't know in a blind how I would do, but I could imagine that I wouldn't call number 1 an ECBP. 2, I could see me getting there, but the proof wouldn't lead me down that. ECBP gets a little more sharp in ethanol. This doesn't have that. Andrew says, these Luxes go for about $250 to $300 on second. They're usually about $250. If you're talking BTAC, seems like a bargain still at those prices. Yeah, exactly. But it's like this first one, to me, is BTAC quality. 100%. Number 2, not so much. Number 2 seems like there's a lot of good notes in here, but it's not balanced. Jeb, thank you for the super chat, man. I got you in for 4 here, and Amy's got you. I have a sample of the Parker's Double Barrel, but the proof is much higher, so not sure how that would fare. Yeah, I don't think it's a good comparison, unfortunately. Michael Schneider, which is in for Michael S. Mathan on YouTube. Let's see, Michael S. There it is. Yeah, in for 4. Cool. I got you, man. Thank you for the super chat going direct to Venmo. That's awesome. Appreciate you. Let's move on to number 3 here. Austin Erickson. Ooh. Okay. Always been curious about the Lux Row 12. Living in Illinois, doubtful I see one. Always enjoy the in-depth discussions you have on these bottles. Cheers. Thank you, Austin. Austin's here for the nerddom. All right, man. In for 2. Thank you so much, Austin. Robotics got 71106 and then the 12107. I love this stuff so much. Jeb, the only reason I do pour over, the only reason is because Sarah bought it for me last Christmas. Not this past, but the one before. She bought it for me last Christmas at the same time that I bought her a new coffee maker. A pretty nice one, I will say, if I do say so myself. And that has never left the box, and now I make pour over almost every morning for us. Us. Sugar Kitty, no. only drink coffee black. That's, again, a product of Sarah. Patrick Corrigan says, good night, all. I'm old and 3 o'clock. Oh, my gosh. Man, Patrick. Sweet dreams, dude. Good Lord, 3 o'clock. Mike says, sorry, no Venmo. No worries, man. Thank you for the super chat. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right. Yeah, Derek, I know they use that loophole. Bourbon Hunter got one for $175 at Lux. That's what I thought they were up to $175. Roy, man, this depends on what you want, but I'm gonna say $520. Soft spot for that one, but it's definitely got more of a dusty note for sure. Thank you, Nick Allen, for the reminder. Oh, Central KY says, do you like Lux Row or Bardstown Bourbon? Well, it really depends on which bottle from Bardstown Bourbon. I would take the Lux Row over the Prisoner for sure. But if you like the Prisoner, if that's your profile, and you like that finished wine thing going on there, you might actually prefer that to the Lux Row 12, just because this is going to be a little more of a traditional profile. So yeah, I think it kind of depends on what you're looking for. But as far as maybe this up against their Discovery series, I would pick the Lux Row 12. The prices are increasingly getting closer right now. Discovery's up to $140. This is $175. But the current Discoveries are not up to the standard of the old Discoveries. Therefore, I would pick these Lux 12s over the current Bardstown Discovery series. Oh, Sugar Kitty. I just thought you were saying, okay, I was just assuming a typo in that. Oh. Sorry about that. Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea. Amy's in for 4 and for a chance at the Lux. Never see it around here. Thanks, Amy. Amy freaking tracking the super chats and entering with that's awesome. Are people sending PayPal? Is my PayPal info even out there? All right, gosh, the super chats are pouring in. Thank you, guys. I'll get to them in a second. So let's move on to this third Lux Row, which is the one that's in for tonight's giveaway, which is, I think, between 15 and 16 years old as far as the rumors I've heard about these new batches. All right, let's see. So I've got to say, this is the most... What's the word for this? This is the most balanced of the three in the sense that it covers everything from really light notes to really dark notes. And that's interesting given what I imagine, again, is 15 to 16-year-old bourbon. That's what everyone keeps saying about the bottles currently coming out of there right now. So I'm going to keep saying it, and if I'm wrong, I'll, put something in the description of this video after the fact. But you wouldn't know it that it's that old on the nose, and I'm not saying that in the way where it's like, oh man, I wish this smelled older. It's that it has so much vibrancy and freshness to the whiskey still, even if it is that old, even if this is 12 years old. It's just got this vibrancy coming out of the glass. So I'm getting tons and tons of vanilla on this one. A little bit of a cornbread note, which is something so cornbread, when I get a toasted cornbread note, I get that on George T. Stagg. I get that on Michter's 20. It's not quite the same in this. I'm not going to overhype this, but I am getting toasted cornbread, which is not a super common note. Usually you can get straight up corn. You can get, that kind of cornmeal, dusty corn, whatever. This has a very, very distinct smell, and I actually picked this up on the first batch. Faintly, this has the distinct smell of a green Jolly Rancher. And I'm not saying it's a little bit, it's a lot. A big kind of spicy caramel body to the whiskey in the middle, and then a big dose of leather on the back end. So this nose of this whiskey is all over the place, and I think there's going to be something in here for a lot of people to love. Kind of reminds me of, like there's some element of turkey in here with the cinnamon, with the spice. Very interesting. But again, I don't know if you wanted to make a comparison to Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. This, you know what? This doesn't remind me of current day batches whatsoever. I think this reminds me of old Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, not the pirate bottles. That's too far. Like between 2017 and 2019, this has elements of those kind of Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs, which will make a comparison to an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof more interesting. It's the only one out of this flight where I'm like, maybe that is a good comparison to this. Otherwise, it's like I need to find or think of some bottles that could compare to these other ones and give you the same experience. Moral of the story right now, before I taste this third and final batch, is that these are actually pretty inconsistent, the Lux Row 12s. I think that makes it exciting in some way that you don't know what you're going to get, but in another way, you don't know what to expect. And you're also spending $175 before tax on these things. So you as the consumer, if you go to the distillery and you're looking at one of these, you need to weigh that fact. Like, don't go into it thinking that you're going to get something that tastes like an older Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, because you might get this, or you might get the one that tastes like MGP, or you might get this one, which is kind of like this very broad, general, but just well-balanced bourbon profile. I don't know. Huh. Oh, cream corn. That's an interesting note, Eric. Very interesting note. Christopher says you can drink them at the distillery for $20 a pour. It's kind of a lot for a pour, depending on the size, but if it's, let's say, from the same batch that you could purchase from, that's, well, you got to pay money to save money in that case, just in the event that you don't like that batch. Man. Mark May says, please assign to Amy Boehm. She is a saint of support. Yes, she is. Thank you, Mark. Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, Roy, I mean, it reminded me of Heaven Hill 17 in that blind. It was a blind, which is like the most honest opinion I could give about it. But I don't think in the grand scheme that that it's quite there. But yeah, interesting. Interesting to think about. So, Amy, I have some PayPal here. Some folks going into the PayPal. I don't know, maybe you or someone else dropped my PayPal in the video, which is awesome. But for some reason, I don't get notifications from PayPal. So just please remind me before we draw for the giveaway to check this again. But I want to make sure we have these folks in here. All right, so I have Abraham Rodriguez in for 1. And guys, if you jump in here, and John Mankey, you got John for 2. Then Christopher Bruce is in for 2. And Anthony Maglico, Anthony is in for 2. So I'll check in with you in a second and make sure that we're good on those and that we don't have any duplicates in there. I am John R22 in for 5 entries, 25. Thank you, man. That's awesome. I really appreciate the support. And I'll toast to that with my third and final Lux Row here. I haven't had a sip of it yet. Man. Now on the palate, you can tell that whiskey is older. Not in like an over oaked way either. It's so balanced and full bodied and fruity. Oh, God, that is good. Make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Okay, I think I'm good in the chat itself. William says there is a PayPal. Well, there is, but I haven't listed it out anywhere because it's kind of hard to track all of these things. Venmo's a little bit easier. It's all in one place. But there is a PayPal if you really wanted it. I don't know how people got it. I don't know if someone dropped it in the chat. Jeb, very dark profile on the one that's the same as mine. And then a lot lighter and sweeter on the 43007. So, yeah, interesting. Mine, you know, mine is so fruity. I would say that my first batch, which is the super dark fruit MGP-esque profile, I didn't get that on the nose of the batch that I'm giving away tonight, but on the palate, it tastes like that. It's just all fruit. So not at all like an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, unless it's the older ones. Oh, can you send a PayPal through that? See, I thought you had to have my email address. Shows what I know. Oh, you do have PayPal usernames. I had no idea. Yeah, I guess that's true. See, I always thought you needed an email address. Maybe I'm not with the times. I'm becoming a boomer, as they say. Late to the party, 4-leaf whiskey. Cheers. Cheers to you. Never late. Never late. We got 127 in here. An hour into the stream. That's incredible. Cheers to that. Thank you all for being here. Quick reminder, hit the like button. Thank you. Thank you. Like, what is an alternative to this? I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it right now. What do you guys think? Anyone out there that has a Lux Row 12, what is your, like, what's your thought on... Oh, they added usernames in the past year or two, says Chris. What's your idea of an alternative for your Lux Row 12? John, thank you, man. I love that. The problem with the channel getting bigger, my chances of winning a bottle is dropping. Cheers. Cheers, man. I always try to at least have 2 giveaways because I don't want there to just be one winner. So tonight, again, the sample giveaway, these 3 batches, the Matt Porter's pick from Nulu, and then this blind flight that's coming up in the next, probably 10 minutes. This blind flight, whatever Sarah poured for me, people are getting samples of it. Not the ones I'm drinking. I'm not going to pour those into a sample bottle and send it to you. Derek's in for 2, man. I heard great things about these Lux 12s. Good to see you cover some of the range of those unique blends. Thanks, Derek, man. Thanks for getting in for 2 and supporting the channel and everything. So, yeah, very, very random on these profiles. Very random. Jeb, I'm not putting that up. I love it. I love it. Okay. I just want to check something real quick, guys. All right. So I think we're good on all the super chats right now. I'm going to turn off Do Not Disturb so I get notifications if things come in. Okay. So quick down the line. It's crazy how different that middle batch is. I'm going to just go back and forth on the outer 2. Those are close. Those are pretty darn close. I still think the first batch is a little darker. So let me grab an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. And I'm also going to grab... It's like I want to grab something that's kind of accessible, I guess, and like lower cost. I mean, my goal is to find an alternative. I guess maybe it could be similar cost. Ideally, it's under cost. Because I'm thinking maybe a Lucky 7 14-year pick, which are about $150, but those aren't that widely available either. But I am grabbing an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Man, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. Roy says rare breed. No, man, rare breed is not going to do it. The rare breed non-chill filtered would get closer. And truthfully, the Wild Turkey 12, I mean, I have some poured out over here. I don't need to go straight from the bottle. So this is the Turkey 12 at a much lower proof, obviously. There's a comparison to be made there. The proof is very different. There are certainly similarities in the profile. Not 100%, but certainly similarities. Jeb, I'm not doing B521 because that's a garbage batch. I am going to try an older batch, though. Or maybe I should try a newer batch because it's because they're like out on the market now. Maybe that's a good idea. I don't know. I need your input, chat. I need your help. Andrew, don't say that. Don't say that. Love it. I love it. Prescription bourbon in for one. Thank you. Nice pour. Cheers. William, auction off your infinity bottle. Man, my infinity bottle actually is full of crazy stuff. I haven't tasted it in months. I used to do that I tried that infinity blend thing on the channel where it was like people would super chat and tell me what to put in the blend and then for the chance to win part of the blend. That was kind of a cool thing. It got a little uncanny, a little untenable at the end. But it was definitely fun. Dad says, I'm in whatever you're doing. Can't watch in a tornado warning. Oh my gosh, stay safe. Jeez, I know we dealt with that 2 days ago here in Ohio. Good luck. Thank you, man. And Roy says, do a rare breed. This is for my second entry. Roy, I don't know about rare breed, man. I don't even know if I have it up here. Yeah, I don't have it up here. I have the non-chill filtered. Yeah, William Hall, maybe I'll do the A123. It's on the market now. Dustin, this is exactly what I was thinking. But it's just not available anymore. Actually, they just did a fourth batch, didn't they? Or am I thinking of just the regular lower rye bourbon? But they did a batch recently of this, of one of them. All right, let's try that. Let's throw it next to this. I need to get glasses. Sorry, guys. Okie dokie. I got a lot of things on this table and more things coming. Roy, the Turkey 12 is 101 proof, yeah. Yes. Check my Venmo, PayPal. All right. So, do you guys know, Andrew, 9-year barrel proof, is that the bourbon? Yeah, it's not the high rye. It's just a regular bourbon. I like it. It's not as sought after as the high rye bourbon is, but I think it's still good. Ooh. Single barrel shelfer or a store pick. The one that I have is an infinity blend of Russell's picks because I had a bunch of samples I needed to get rid of. And I know the profile of that bottle. It's buried in my basement. I don't think that one's going to work. I think a store pick could get closer, but a regular, like, run-of-the-mill single barrel or the one that I have, I don't think is quite going to get there. And I want to do a few comparisons. I don't want to do a ton. I plan on making a video for these Lux Rows anyways. And to prep for that video, I will have done many more comparisons than I can do in one night like this. And hopefully present some options definitively in that video, whereas tonight's more of like a kind of an exploration. The 13 would be a pretty cool comparison, but it's just not available enough. Like, I'm trying to think alternatives of things that are actually, somewhat easy to find. Amy says 131 people in chat. That's just amazing. It really is. Last week hitting 200 was wild. I know that was because of what we were doing on the stream. It was right after the Junkies and It's Bourbon Night. Either way, I'm feeling incredibly just thankful to all of you for being here. Okay. So, this is crazy. This This is totally... I haven't even poured the Elijah Craig A123. Haven't gotten that yet. This is crazy. I said the first batch, the 71106, both barrels, reminded me of MGP because it has this really dark fruit note. What I poured out here is 10-year, 36% rye MGP at 114 proof. A great comparison. It's 4 proof points less than this. All the Lux Rows. When I compare these two, the Lux Row is actually quite a bit richer and darker. So I thought it was all dark fruits. In the comparison to a bourbon, it really is all dark fruits. This high rye bourbon, in my opinion, is beautiful grape notes, kind of a little herbal spice in there. There's a big similarity, but actually this thing gets a little bit nutty on the nose in the comparison. So you can finally recognize, oh, maybe that is Heaven Hill distillate. The nuttiness only shows up in a comparison to something like this. But it's a little too dark. And the clove actually comes out of that Lux Row. I called a clove note earlier. Super strong now. But the one that I'm giving away tonight, which is this third batch, I'm not going to say identical, but really, really close to the Redemption High Rye Bourbon, but with an extra dimension to it. Which, again, I think is coming from the fact that it's Heaven Hill. There's a little bit of additional depth to the bourbon. Because the Redemption High Rye Bourbon is amazing. But it's kind of obvious out of the glass, and there's not something at the very core of it, right? It just, to me, it's all dark fruit, like I said, herbal spice, a little bit of candy in there. And this Lux Row 12 has that, but again, just an added dimension. In this case, there's a lot of vanilla sweetness and leather. Whereas the first one, which I thought would be more similar, actually had a little bit of that nuttiness to it, which is crazy. And there's no way that the high rye bourbon is going to have anything similar to the middle batch, which is the one that tastes like, just smells purely like peanuts and chocolate. Yeah, not even, no resemblance. So, alternative, maybe this high rye bourbon. I'm not even, I'll taste it. I'll taste it once. Great bottle. I think it's such a great bottle. Oh, but the Lux Row 12, there's something way more complex and full about it. So the noses were pretty similar, but the palate, the Lux Row blows away the high rye bourbon. Cool. Very cool comparison on that. Let me grab that Elijah Craig barrel proof. Oh, God, where is it? It's gotta be on the floor. Yeah. All right, let's get this one poured out. Let's go to some different music. Let's go jazz. Jazz Mix 1. Let's see if I can fit all of these onto the table. Just a quick reminder for you guys to hit that like button if you have not already. Appreciate it. Okay. I need to cleanse my palate just a bit. Things are kind of running together right now, so. Eric Sawyer, the giveaway is this batch, the third of 3, the one that I just compared to the MGP and said that there was a lot of similarity on the nose, extra dimension to it, but on the palate, it totally blows it away. Yeah. Interesting, Dustin. Yeah, the Hardin's Creek, in my mind, would be a combination of number 2 and number 3. Like, if you blended those two, that would probably get close to Hardin's Creek. Four Roses, I think, is going to be too floral. And yeah, a Knob Creek pick, again, that's a great comparison, but it's not available anymore at that age, you know? So these are still floating around, and I know the regular redemption bourbons are still floating around, so maybe I could grab that. Well, I don't know. Again, I don't want to do too many tonight. Larceny C922 wouldn't quite cut it in terms of the age. It would be a pretty obvious difference, but that's a great batch. Jonathan, gave up alcohol for Lent. Here I am watching and torturing myself. Oh, I'm sorry. Ken, I used to use the OHLQ. I mean, I still use it for like available bottles, just to know where it's at if I want to go pick one up and not drive around to a few different stores. But for anything allocated, it's not a worthwhile resource, unfortunately. Yeah, Jacob, I have not tried that batch 4. That's what it is, the 9-year. Oh, thank you, man. Just Good Old Me says, really enjoying your content. Thank you. I think we've gotten a couple new folks, quite a few new, about 500 new folks in the last week on the channel, which is crazy. Gerard, so I'm gonna do A123 because it's the one that's out on the market. I thought maybe a comparison to an older batch would be more. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. It would be a better comparison to do it to an older batch based on the profile I'm imagining in my head for these things and how that might stack up. But A123 is out there now, so why not do that one? Okay. So A123 is 125.6. Yeah, 125.6. So let's put it next to the batch that's being given away tonight. There's a similarity, but the Lux Row is way, way sweeter. There's just more jumping out of the glass, even at a good bit of a lower proof. Taste the Elijah Craig. The Elijah Craig is just more dark and leathery without the sweet burst coming out of the glass like the Lux Row. Oh, it's good, though. Good on the palate. Oh, yeah, dark fruit and leather. All right. I wonder. I don't know if there is like a real a great alternative to this Lux Row 12. It's almost like a blend of Elijah Craig barrel proof and this redemption. Like if you could blend those together, if the blend worked, it might approximate something between these outer two batches, that dark fruit profile, that sweetness. But it's just clear that these are quality barrels that Lux Row has because they have such a variety of notes, such complexity, a good bit of balance besides this batch, which I just think is a wonky batch. Wow. Yeah. So I'm going to call it right there because I want to be responsible enough and sober enough to get into this blind flight. Okay. I got 4 more pours for the night for the blind flight. But this is interesting. I'm going to have to mull this over if and when I do release a Lux Row 12 video to think about some more apt comparisons and alternatives to these bottles. But I think at the end of the day, even at $175, that's expensive. No other way to look at that. I still think these are undervalued and underhyped. I don't know. This is not going to be a bourbon if you're looking for something at 135 proof to rip your face off and have a lot of flavor. It's not like that. These are really balanced. Okay, let's not put it that way. The flavors are balanced besides this one. it's the ethanol to flavor ratio is impeccable. So much flavor to not a lot of ethanol, even at 118.4. So proof hounds might not like this, but if you want something nuanced and really sweet and rich and complex, these are it. You're rolling the dice when you buy one. Dustin, I can't decide, man. I can't decide. Every time I go back to them, I like them less, but it's also when I'm not doing them blind. I like them less because I'm like, oh, are we returning to the old ECBP profile? And every time I go back to them, I'm like, we're getting further and further from God. If God is the former ECBP profile from 2020 and earlier. Jeb, well, no, man. With my 4,100 subs, they're still underhyped. Just don't let Matt or the junkies or Chad and Sarah say that, you know. Then they will become appropriately hyped. Nick, Rebel 10 year, the Rebel Yell 10 years, and the ones that were higher age than that, I liked them. They're a little too peanutty for me. That was my issue with those. The Rebel 10 year, the new one, is really thin. So like the quality of the barrels is down in my mind. And I've tried a few of them. Aiden, it's still good. And at the $60 to $80, I think I've seen them for $60, but I think typically $80. Not a bad buy at $80. Personally, I'd have to put that next to a McKenna 10 year and see which one's better. Because I think that's a good comparison. Even though it's weeded to rye bourbon, I still think it's a good comparison. Ooh, 1792 12 year, although considerably lower in proof. True. Definitely a different flavor profile, but if you're just looking for the general feeling of that older whiskey thing, perhaps, yeah. Oh, Nick, you've got a 3/31/06. I have not seen that date, actually. That's the earliest date I think I've ever seen. Yeah, 3/31/06. That's probably the very first lot of barrels that they got, because they opened in 2018, and this was a commemorative bottling for that. So that's probably the very first lot that would have turned 12 years old in 18. Same with the July, but that's the earliest I've seen. Central KY says, how about E.H. Taylor as a comparison? It just not the same. The profile's vastly different. That's the only problem. Amy, reminding all of you, if you have not, please hit that subscribe button. Yes, also, I never say to hit the subscribe button because I assume that most people on the live streams are subscribed. Seems like a place where a lot of the subscribers are and not a lot of new folks. But if you aren't subscribed, please consider it. Okay, let me do a quick check on the Venmo, PayPal, and then we will get into this blind. We are still good to go Venmo and PayPal-wise. Amy, again, I think the profile's too different, but my thought was a low-proof Lucky 714. All right, so I've got one here, which is 120.3. Pretty much spot on with the proof that you would need. Let me see if I can get away with a used glass. Yeah, I don't even know what this is. I think, oh, yeah, Turkey 12. Oh, man. Good stuff. Proof just doesn't stand up. Let me try this Lucky 7, because if any of the Barton stuff, like the banana note to me kills the comparison. But this will just be real quick, and then we'll do the blind. Jeb, I saw you say, I think we've concluded there's not a good comparison. I think that's my conclusion, because the ECBP just doesn't get as close as you would think. Wow, I never smell Lucky 714 picks and say, wow, that smells like Barton. Based on what I've been drinking tonight, this automatically smells like Barton. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, that's not comparable, I don't think. No, it's good, but it's not comparable. All right, let's move on. The Calumet, same story. Same story. I am out of space in this room. My entire desk is destroyed, so I'm gonna probably have to put. Oh, let me give me a second. Logistics moment here. Give me a second for a logistics shift changeover. Yeah, the Calumets and the Sam Houstons are just not going to be the right profile, because what I'm in this comparison, I'm not just going for the feeling of approximately 120 proof 12-year to 16-year bourbon profile. In that case, like, a lot of things could compare on paper and be an alternative in a more general sense, but I was really trying to find something profile-wise. And it's just strange. When you drink these alone, you're like, it reminds me of this, reminds me of this. And then when you put it next to these things, they separate themselves. And you understand, I think, why the price is $175 and why it's a limited release. I just think they're really good barrels. Okay, sorry. Gotta clear this out. Okay. Amy, I think you're probably right that possibly some special Heaven Hill releases compare. Even stuff I haven't had, like stuff that I probably don't know off the top of my head. I would think that some special Heaven Hill releases could compare to it. The thing is, like, think about how expensive some of those are. That's what we were saying earlier, is like, for the stats of these whiskeys, secondary price on some of those, if they come directly from Heaven Hill, is like $1,000 or $2,000. It's crazy. So kind of interesting. Yeah. Okie dokie. All right. No, I don't have any older Noah's Mill prescription bourbon. I've never had any of those. Like the age-stated stuff. Ben, do you have any favorite whiskey that has banana notes? I mean, I used to hate banana notes. If I'm going everyday sipper that has them, Cooper's Craft 100, like that, I just love it. And 1792 small batch. Those are my two picks of everydays. If you're going to go like higher tier, 1792 12-year, I love. And then sourced, aged Barton. So yeah, your Sam Houston 15s, your Buckners. I like the Buckner stuff. I know it's expensive, but $200 for the Buckners 13-year a few years ago sounded crazy, and now it doesn't look so bad. It's like, oh, okay, the market's kind of there now. Yeah, it depends on what you're looking for, but. And then, of course, I always forget about Jack Daniels. Like, I always forget about Jack Daniels. Yeah, Amy, you're right. This is exactly the moral of the story. So basically, the Lux Row aged bottles are really good, and grab them if you see them. If you see them up to $200, grab them. I think secondary is like $250, and that's a stretch. But with a $175 price tag, makes some sense to me now. Yeah, definitely an Old Forester product has banana notes. It's just not totally my jam until we get to a certain point in their portfolio. So that's why I go Cooper's Craft 100. There's less banana and more red fruit notes and more like syrupiness to that. That's why I go there. Amy, I just got Joe. I didn't even see Joe in chat, but Joe is jumping in for 15. So Joe, Amy, I'm gonna add Joe in here for 3. There we go. Boom. Joe, thank you, man, for the $15 super chat for 3 entries. Appreciate it. All right. So we're going to get into a blind flight right now. And I hate to do this because I hate to do this on live streams. I meant to make a little graphic that says, like, sorry, I'm peeing or going to the bathroom. But I have to... Again, you guys don't want me to pee my pants on stream. Although maybe you do. That might make this more interesting. It's like drinking... It's in and out whiskey, you know? Goes in and it comes out. And I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Enjoy the jazz. Actually, here, I'll throw this playlist on. We'll throw a different one on. Back in under 90 seconds, or I don't know what. I don't know what the punishment is. BRB. All right, let's do this. Abandoned. I'm sorry, guys. Live chat goes to 1,000. I'm sorry. I hate to do that, but I've been hydrating a lot before the streams. This stream, on stream, I have not been hydrating enough. Don't cath. John Cloud. Get a catheter. All right, let me uncover these blind pores. Oh, goodness. Where is my notebook? Okay. Don't mind me just knocking over Pappy 15 samples. Just kidding. Not in the plural. Half a sample left. All right. Let's do this thing. It's time for a little Matt Madness blind training. Sarah said she was excited about this flight that she poured out. And just a reminder, the second place giveaway winner is going to win whatever she poured me here, plus the 3 Lux Row batches, plus Matt Porter's new Nulu toasted apple brandy pick. Joe says, need to use P-biotics. Joe, I love that you always go in on the Z-biotics people. I love it. Oh, Nick with a call back, old school. Hopefully it's the low salt, the low sodium. Marshall, $10 Venmo. I got you, man. I got you. Thanks, Amy. We'll see. We'll see. Big gold belt. We'll see if I can get a second one. All right, what's the date? 3/2. 3/2/23. And then we got glass 1, 2, 3. And again on these, trying to guess age, proof, type, distillery, bottle. Is that everything I normally guess, Amy? Do you remember? Age, proof, or anybody in the chat, really. Age, proof, type, distillery, and bottle. It's 5, or are there 6? I guess maybe if it's finished or not. William Hall, because I'm a degenerate gambler. William, thank you. Yeah, it could be finished. May as well do that. So let me just write that down. Age, proof, type, finished, question mark. Distillery, bottle. All right. So we'll do those 6. Although prominent and secondary grain's not a bad one. Not a bad one. Let's just say grains / mash. Let's go with that. Because Matt's been mixing up some questions this year, you know? He really has. Check the PayPal one more time. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. Okay, good. Calvados, yeah. Yeah. I've never had any, but always curious. So let's do this. Let's test this out. There it is, test card. So, all right, I'm going to show you guys what is in glass number 1. Hang on. Okay. So the test card is in focus. I'm going to turn my head. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Turn my head. Lift this up. And the cursor should be over the button to bring this full screen. There's that. Bring myself back, I think. Go down. Hang on. Go down. Okay, we should be good. Yes. Okay, test card. Let's move this back over. So this is what's in glass number 1. You guys just saw it. No, yeah, here we go. And Amy says it best. No spoilers in chat. Don't ask me a question about leading to a bottle, or I saw some of these the other day, or I wonder, how it would compare to, or just giving the bottle. If you guys do that, you'll get timed out or whatever the moderators can do in the chat to fix that, because I don't want that shit. So please do not spoil any of this in the chat. The point of this is that I have no idea what I'm drinking. And that's the fun of it, and it's fun for you guys to know and for me not to know. All right? So just also remember that you guys are seeing along the way what's going to be in the sample flight that the second place winner tonight gets. All right. Hot. Yeah. Already kind of getting some... Let me look at the color. Yeah, pretty nice color on this. Glass A is coming off closed off, coming off hot. Has a little bit of a turkey vibe to it, like a rare breed kind of vibe. Less and less of that the more I smell it. Oh, it smells so familiar. Raw wood character coming in now, like spicy oak, but raw oak. Yeah, it's coming into focus more and more. I think this is a decent proof, like just off the nose. I'm in like the 120 territory off the nose. Age, I'm young on age here. I'm like 6 to 8 absolutely tops. Oh, that's hot. Ooh, that's hot. Interesting. That's even hotter than I thought it would be. Huh. Interesting. It's actually improving. But yeah, this is definitely giving me like... I think this is giving me turkey vibes. Yeah, Amy, for sure. I'll for sure show it again. Here we go. I need to just throw this in, and then I can solo it here in a second. So bring this over. Okay, and test cards in focus. Turn my head. Put it up. Here, I'll solo it on the screen. Okay, so this is what I'm currently smelling and tasting. Glass 1. Put it down. Bring my head back. Okay. Let's go here. Something about this is giving me like a little bit of a banana note now, and I was not. I don't know. I'm getting brown. It's got that turkey thing, that kind of spicy, woody oak. Yeah, that raw wood, brown sugar, cinnamon. If I had to call a fruit note in this, I would call it like a flaming cherry, like it's spicy cinnamon cherries. And that's like the best I can do. But it second sip not as high on proof. I don't want to turn around and look. I have to go with my gut. My gut says turkey on this. This could be a lot of things. I'm going to say 6 to 8 years for age. If I need to pin this down, okay, it's getting better. It's getting better. Proof. It's like, do I go off the bottle guess or do I go off the stats guesses, You got to go off the stats guesses. You just have to. You guys talking Armagnac in the chat? Roy says, I find Armagnac to be over oaked. I've only tried 40-year, though. I love the 40-year Armagnac. Between 30 and 40, in my opinion, is like the sweet spot for it to... Because I like it when Armagnac resembles dusty bourbon. And between 30 and 40 is where that happens. The only other thing I can think that this is like a Michter's barrel strength rye. Or not rye. Like a Michter's barrel strength bourbon. I said I was around 120 proof. It's lowering to me now. I'm going to say 117. Age. It is getting better. I don't think this is age stated. I think this is a blend of whiskeys of different ages. Age stated could still be that, but I don't even think it's age stated because I think I'm tasting such a diversity of things happening on the palate that this is probably not definitively 6, 8, 10. I'm going to say the lowest in the blend is 6 years old. I know that's like a kind of a weird guess, but Sarah didn't pick these to be game show or blind flight bourbons, I don't think, or whiskeys. I think she just picked them because they're interesting. I don't believe it's finished. Type, I believe this is a bourbon. Distillery. Something about this is coming into focus right now. Is that Larceny Barrel Proof? Something just hit me. That's 100% Larceny Barrel Proof. It's got, I mean... I think that's Larceny Barrel Proof. I might have to... I usually go with my first instinct, but this thing was really closed off. Everything... proof, I'm going to go up to 125. No finish. Bourbon. Yep. Distillery, Heaven Hill. I'm going to say this is Larceny Barrel Proof. I don't know the batch. So I'm going with that. Wow. I mean... If that ends up being a turkey, I could totally see it. But for some reason, like it just popped into my brain that that's a Larceny Barrel Proof. I don't know. We'll find out. We will find out. Yeah, John, it is tough to do. Oh, 115 watching and 115 likes. That's awesome. John Cloud, would you be doing better if you focused on one question at a time instead of all at once? Yeah, I mean... It just depends. I mean, it's hard for me because I know Sarah's picking from my bottles. I can't not think about Like, I can't not think about that. Roy, did you just spoil something, dude? Did you just spoil it? Should I just reveal that one now? Yeah, but unfortunately, Nick, dude, in StreamYard, I can still see those things. Roy, don't spoil shit, dude. Okay, I'm going to reveal Glass A. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. I'll reveal this. I'm not revealing any others along the way. The plan was not to do that. Roy, don't spoil it. I make a big deal of that every time. No spoilers. But hey, look, I'll take that. I'll take the Switch from Turkey. I tell you what, this thing was so closed off. See, the only reason I don't like to reveal along the way is because it gives you information for the next one. You know what it was, and in your mind, you just stacked up so many controls to now measure these variables against that it's too helpful. Man, so yeah, C922 kind of sucks that it's not as good blind as when I have it normally, but this is the thing. As I sip this, it got better and better, and I'm like, is this older? But look, I called. This is what's crazy. I said it's a 6-year product, or 6 to 8 year blend at first, is what I said. And it literally is a 6 to 8 year blend. Although some people have said this one has older in it. I don't know if it does. It probably does. It tastes good. And then I said, but I think it's a blend of things. I don't think it's age dated, and I think the youngest is 6. 125 proof is 126.6. No finish, bourbon, Heaven Hill, Larceny barrel proof. I will take that, guys. I will take that. I know. Honest mistake, people, says Gerard. A majority of us are sauced. I know. Me too. Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah, the timing thing, I like to do the timing thing if the questions have legitimate like if somebody sent me a blind and they had questions worked out for those particular bottles, then I like to do the timing. But if it's Sarah pouring them and she doesn't know if Larceny's age statement is legit or not. So if she says like, how old is this? And she gives me 2 questions per, one nosing, one tasting. Then you do the timer, but then there's no definitive answer. And you know what I mean? So when she pours these, I just like to figure out everything I can about it. And it's more general training as opposed to the time training. And also, if you're doing the timed thing, I like to have another person on the stream because they can keep everybody entertained in that 30 seconds where I'm just silent. But I do take your comment to heart because I do like that. I do think you have to train in the way that you're gonna do it on the gig. All right. Roy, it's cool, man. It's cool. All right, let's go to glass 2. No more spoilers, Roy. No more spoilers, or I'm going to make you send me the rest of that Lagavulin. Just kidding, dude. I couldn't make you do that. All right. How am I going to do this? Let me get the number 2 card out from here. Okay. Nope. I need to do all together. There we go. Test card. Okay. Look away. Look away. Okay. Bring it up here. Okay. I'm going to turn my head. 3. Hang on. Let me put this down. Hang on. There you go. Test card's up. I'm trying to do this all at once. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. It's up. This is glass 2. Now if I do this, I should full screen it. Okay, that's glass 2. It should go from full screen. Let me put it down. Crap, hang on. Put it down. Okay. We're good. This is glass 2. Here we go. Ooh. Ooh, that's cherry. That's delicious. Ooh, that's funky. Funky cherry. I'm getting like, I don't know if I want to like try. I don't want to think bottle first. Let me get away from thinking that. It smells approachable. It's really sweet. It smells like it's got some age to it. Nick, so here's the thing, man. I actually don't like to take sips of water. So if I'm doing it this way, where, okay, let me back up. The ADHD is strong right now. What do I want to say? If I'm doing nosing only side by side, that's easy, right? You're not tasting things. If you're tasting one after another, the negative is that proof builds upon itself sip to sip, especially if it's rapid fire. In Matt Madness, usually there's like enough time between each that your palate kind of resets. But if I take a sip of water too close to taking the next sip of bourbon, and I only get one sip, let's say. Man, I got the bourbon belches. Sorry, guys. Just taking that sip of water, the next sip of bourbon I take, it just is lower proof than it really is. Just the water, the residual palate, water, saliva, whatever, it just tastes lower proof, and I can never read it the same. So I usually just freaking go straight through with no water. So it's weird. Huh. So yeah, this is big cherry notes. For a moment, and it's got a nuttiness to it. For a moment, I was thinking, okay, this could be an Elijah Craig barrel proof, but it feels too round. Maybe too low of proof to be that. Part of me right away thought Russell's 13 on this because the proof seems to be about right. Like I would say this is probably around and I'm just on the nose right now, 110 to 115 proof. It's a little lower. I think age of this whiskey is pretty high. But at the same time, there's something youthful about it. There's something like that white cake kind of note, that textured white cake graininess. There's a little bit of something like that in there. But admittedly, on Russell's 13, sometimes I get like a Dickel minerality on Russell's 13. And there's a smokiness to this. I think it smells really nice, and I think I'm overanalyzing it. I'm going to go in for a sip. That's tough. That got really nutty. I think that's probably Heaven Hill. Okay, this is... I've heard this. I've heard about using coffee beans. I feel like that aroma would blow my nose and palate out. But if anybody's done it, please let me know, because I'm very curious about that. I've never tried it. I could try it, but I'm not going to do it right now in this flight. Brian says, doing my first barrel pick next week. That was a good point right there. Thanks. Oh, about sipping water? Well, in a barrel pick, that's tough because, man, you can drink a lot of whiskey at a barrel pick. Oh, my God. It can get rough. It's like, have someone drive you to the pick. Gosh, glass 2 is very confusing. I wanted to go lower proof on this, but I don't think it really is that much lower than the Larceny. I think it might just drink lower, but I think it's actually still in that 125 range. smells good. It's getting a little nuttier as I taste it, but it smelled like the first smell of this was, oh yeah, that's nice. I might have to come back to that. Oh man. Roy says, when is Matt Madness? I'm actually not a fan of that series personally. It is kind of chaotic to watch, but I love it. I love Matt. I love I mean, it's just, the whole thing is great. I think it's a great thing for the community. But I totally know what you mean, Roy. I think we all have our preferences for sure. It's happening now, so it's every Friday from this point until it's done, basically. No, and plus, I mean, I'm mega biased because I love Matt, and competing there is fun, and, you know, the way last year went, I've got to try to defend the belt. Okay, Jay Porter, I know that's not technically a spoiler, but don't even say that. Don't even say that, because sometimes people have said things earlier on in streams and then cited what they said earlier in a comment like this, and I knew it, and that was not good. All right, I gotta move on from this. If I had to guess this right now, my and I didn't talk about grains, but earlier I would have if I called Larceny Barrel Proof, I would have got the grains right. If I had to guess this, I'm guessing this is a Heaven Hill bourbon. It's getting very coffee now. Oh yeah, it's getting coffee. I would say this is not finished. Proof as it stands now. I'm going to go 125 again. I'm going to go 125 again. If I had to guess an age, I'm going to go 12 on this to hedge my bets. I'm going to go towards that Elijah Craig barrel proof, but I don't know, so I'll put it in parentheses. The other answer is like the grains or the mash bill. I mean, I think it's a bourbon. I think secondary grain here, because I think it's Heaven Hill, is barley. So corn, barley, rye. I might be totally off on this, though. The only thing I'm confident about is that I think it's a Heaven Hill bourbon that's not finished. The proof, pretty confident, kind of wonky. The age, I'm not confident. The grains, I think it's definitely bourbon corn, but secondary grain. If I'm confident in Heaven Hill, I'm confident in the mash bill. What am I missing? Age, proof, type, finished. Oh, not finished. Distillery, bottle. Yeah, I don't have a bottle guess. That's what I'm missing. So I'm going to go to glass 3 now. I'm going to let that sit. Jeez. I just laughed too hard and my test card fell off the table. I'm laughing at the chat. That's all. I'm not going to say what I'm laughing at. All right. So let's go to glass 3. The color on this looks pretty nice. All right, let's do this. Let's do this little, do-si-do with the cards. Okay, so we get this ready to go. I'm on the button. Okay. This is glass 3. Should be up on the screen. Okay. Go down. Okay. So that's glass 3. Yeah, go on the first glass, the Larceny for sure. Go ahead and ask on that one. Ooh, that Smells like cherry syrup. Oh, man, I know exactly what this is. Oh, it's so familiar. Oh, my God, it smells so crazy. Oh. It's a little medicinal, but dang. Them some heat-cycled warehouses on Glass 3. Gotta be heat-cycled warehouses. Your first gut reaction was wild turkey. So this is on the Larceny Glass 1, coupled with it being hot right off the bat. Does wild turkey drink hot to you? Yes, 100%. I think almost all turkey, besides Russell's 10, I think almost all turkey drinks hot to me. Rare breed drinks hot. Until when you're a couple sips in, it doesn't. Then it's fine. What else? Like, I think Russell's. I think they all drink hot because they're also like oak spice and cinnamon spice, and that gets confused for proof. Man, Glass 3 has got to have some heat-cycled warehouses. It's got to be a Brown-Forman product. Right? What else could this be? Oh, it could be Four Roses. This could totally be Four Roses. This could totally be a tier 5 or tier 6 Four Roses. Oh, this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. Why does it taste like that? Why does it taste like that? I guess it doesn't have to be tier 5 or tier 6. Oh, why does it taste like that? I think this is Four Roses barrel strength. That syrupy note. Yeah, 100%. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind that's a Four Roses. Man, I was Brown-Forman all the way at first. Tasted like those heat-cycled warehouses. And the reason is because in my mind... No, I'm not going to say that. In my opinion. I think heat-cycled warehouses produce a very syrupy whiskey that tastes unbalanced a lot of the time because you're trying to hyper-age the whiskey. And so I think, you know, Cooper's Craft, Cooper's Craft 100 and other products have this syrupiness to them. It's not always good, but in the lower cost products, it's not as bothersome. It's like, okay, I accept this flaw because it's $30. And this has that. And sometimes you get a lot of black pepper from the heat-cycled warehouses too. Just the intensity. God, I'm still possibly getting banana on this. That's what's freaking me out. But, for instance, OESQ has banana notes from Four Roses. So, yeah, first impression was Brown-Forman. Second thought is Four Roses. I'm getting herbal. I'm getting black pepper. But I don't think I've ever confused Four Roses and Brown-Forman. But this is a glass that is, I was just so confident in Four Roses. Now I'm smelling it again going, God, my first impression might have been right on Brown-Forman. No, William, that's not what I just didn't want to sound dumb. Like, in my mind, it's like, no, I'm just going to say my opinion is this. Because I didn't want it to sound factual. Because it's not factual. It's an opinion. That's the only reason I said that, William. Amy, Sarah, yes. She said, I feel good about this flight. There's something in here that's yeasty, though. And that's why I'm like Brown-Forman. This might be Brown-Forman, dude. I might have been wrong. that is a very challenging bottle. Okay. Just Good Old Me says, so when you say hot, you're referencing the rye spice. Not always. I mean, so to me, hot just means... I'm not saying this to sound like a doofus. Hot in the simplest terms for me means it drinks over its proof. Now, if I don't know the proof, then I guess what I'm referring to when I say it drinks hot and I don't have a point of reference, all I'm saying is that it feels like the ethanol and or the spice is taking precedent over the flavors of the whiskey. A lot of times those are hand in hand. Ethanol and spice work together to overtake the flavors. Sometimes it's just the ethanol, and sometimes, like in the case of like the first batch of Blue Run and the second batch of Blue Run High Rye Bourbon, the Castle and Key stuff, that was just, it was 111 proof. I have a sampler somewhere of it. No, it's not there. But it drank like 125, 120 because it's just the rye spice. It wasn't the ethanol, it's just the rye spice. So it's like, it's this flexible combination of rye spice and ethanol. But if you also, it's also a different thing to say that it drinks hot, knowing the proof and not knowing the proof, because there's either a point of reference or there's no point of reference. That's Four Roses. That's Four Roses. Proof. It drinks kind of easy. Like I was at 100 a second ago. I don't think it's 100, but I think this is like a 10, like 8, 110 at the max probably. I have an OESF, an OESK, an OESQ, and an OESO, or an OBSO, open. I would have to say, between those 4 mash bills, or yeast strain combinations, I am going to say that this is an OESK. The giveaway is the black pepper, for it being Four Roses. So I'm going to call this the OESK. I'm going to say this is, I don't know the proof of that bottle. I don't even know the tier of that bottle. I called it a high tier earlier. I don't think it is now that I sip it more. But I think it's a fairly low proof. I'm going to say 108. Age. 9.5. I mean, they are stated age, years and months. Finished, no finish. Distillery, I got Four Roses. Bottle guess, barrel strength, and grains. I said OESK, so that's what is that? 75-25. Either way, it's a corn rye. Primary, secondary. Okay, let's go to glass 4 now. Okay. Sorry guys, I just want to get through pour 4 and then I'll look back at the chat. I just want to get through this. So, okay, here's what's going to be in glass 4. Hang on, get this up. Okay. And we're in focus. All right. There we go. So this is glass 4. 3, 2, 1. Okay, it should be both on the screen. Down. Yeah, good. Okay. Glass 4. Crazy color. Good color. Oh, jeez, man. What is she doing? Super closed off on the nose. Glass 4. Super closed off. guys, there's 106 still in here after 2 hours, 11 minutes. Just thank you all so much. The channel viewership is up like it's never been. It sounded like a Trump line. I'm not being political. I'm just like it's never been. I can't even do Trump. That's like that was like Fauci. That was like a Fauci voice. Anyways, the viewership's up like it's never been. Come on, that does sound like a Trump line. Let's be honest. If I could do his voice, I would do it, and it would sound like he said it because I'm doing his voice. I'm gonna move on before somebody in the chat says something, and then we all have to go down a rabbit hole. All right. Glass 4 closed off. A lot of these have been closed off. Glass 1, larceny was closed off. Glass 2, what did I guess? Glass 2. Oh, I got to go back to Glass 2. Glass 3, I said 4 roses for sure. That was not so closed off. That jumped out of the glass with some cherry syrup. Camp 2024. I'll take it. Dude, I need to work on a Trump voice. I can do a couple impersonations. I'm not going to do any right now, but I've tried to do Trump, and I can't do it. I just can't do it. Some guys, you ever heard Shane Gillis, the comedian, do Trump? Fantastic. And the guy on SNL, James Austin Johnson, incredible Trump impersonation. I just can't do it. Doji says, I literally thought Trump as soon as he said that. What did I say? The viewership is up like never before. We have so many viewers. That's exactly it, huh? That's exactly what he would say. If nothing else, man, we got to admit he was funny. I mean, Biden's equally as funny. They all provide enough humor for our lives, you know? Oh, Russell's 10-year might be getting a price bump to around plus or minus 40. It's kind of like that in some areas already, but it's a good $30 right now. At 40, it's a good one. No one's had more views. That would be a lie, but all right, on to Glass 4. This is interesting. This is interesting. Burnt orange. Young, that young raw wood, you know, type feeling to it. It's starting to open up the more I smell it. So at that point, I don't think it's the whiskey. I think it's me feeling like it's closed off. It's probably not the whiskey. Because like if a whiskey is closed off, it stays closed off. Maybe until you sip it. But if you sit and nose it and it starts to open up, this thing has been sitting in the glass this whole time. No cover on it for the last hour. The whiskey didn't change. So in this case, I think it's me. That I don't think it was closed off at first. I think that's just me. We'll see on the reveal, though. It feels closed off again. So maybe it's the whiskey. I don't know. Getting a little chocolate on it now. But that combination of burnt orange and raw wood is a very particular thing. Brown sugar. Is it toasted? I don't know. Could be. I wouldn't. It's not my first guess, but I'm open to the possibility of it being toasted. I'm gonna just take a sip. Oh, that's intense. Oh, wow. I have an idea, but it doesn't make sense based on the proof of that pour. The proof is in the pour. Hashtag bourbon junkies. All right, Amy Bohm, another 10. Thank you, Amy. I'm still in for all the Lux Row samples. Great job, Camp. Thanks, Amy. Yeah, Amy, I'm not old enough. What do you got to be, 35 for president? Is it 35? John Cloud, thank you, man. In for all the Lux Row samples. And William Hall, be damned if I let John Cloud and Toshi Bake beat me. The degenerate gambler in William Hall is fighting back. I love it. Thanks, guys. I have so much fun doing this. Yeah, Amy, I think Paul got the Rona. He said something about that, I think, last week. You got to be 35, says Brian. Yeah. Hendo is back, man. I hear Lux Row's pretty good. Thanks, man. Another $10 super chat from Hendo. It is pretty good. All right, back to glass 4. Oh, what the heck, man? This reminds me of the Turkey Rare Breed Non-Chill Filtered. It also reminds me of, well, that feels higher proof to me than these others I've been drinking, which the Larceny was 125 or 126. I said 125. That feels hotter to me. That feels like a 128, 130. Or else it just drinks hot, maybe. Based on the fact that I felt like it was closed off on the nose, that typically means it's going to drink hot for me. When I say closed off, I usually mean that there's not enough flavor supporting the ethanol or spice in the glass. And then, as a result, it drinks over proof. Or over what I expect. That's an interesting one. Has a ginger note on the back end. Where do I get ginger from? MGP, Old Rise, but I don't... Actually... I get ginger from Old MGP Rise. All right. I'm going to stop thinking out loud. Oh, wait, say that again. Reclosed off. What did I say? Oh, I said typically if a whiskey is closed off on the nose, it ends up drinking hot. Because closed off to me, like if a whiskey feels tight, tight can come from a lot of things, but if a whiskey feels tight to me, usually it's because it needs to be broken apart with water a lot of times. And that's a literal breaking apart of the whiskey, which releases different like aromas and flavors. But if it feels tight to me on the nose, like you just can't get beneath something, like there's something there, but you just can't get underneath it, then typically it drinks hot. This glass 4 is very, very tough. I'm inclined to say rare breed non-chill filtered, and I'm also inclined to say, but this proof seems really high. I don't think it's an MGP rye. I think I would have picked that up. But I get ginger on the back end. I don't know. I wanted to say 127 to 130, but now it feels way under that on the palate. I think I'm there. I think I'm turkey on this. Again, like glass 1, I thought could have been turkey, and then I thought could have been a Michter's Barrel Strength Bourbon. For some reason, there was a similarity in my head on those. They're both closed off. This is definitely closed off, glass 4. I'm going to roll with it. I mean, I guess that means the proof is 116.8, but... it feels lower now. It doesn't feel that low. I'll call this 121. I'm just going to hedge against things. But my bottle guess is turkey, non-chill filtered, rare breed. Type is bourbon. Distillery is, wild turkey. Grains would be corn rye for the first 2. Age. This has a range of ages in it. So. All right, I'm going to stick with that. The more I smell that, the more I'm getting freaked out by it. Let me go back to glass 2 very quickly. I'm not going to remind you of what's in it because we're going to get to that guess in just a second. Oh, yeah. Honey roasted peanuts. Tastes like a scotch. I get a lot of barley on that. A lot of honey. Well, prescription bourbon, my hardcore guess would have been that that's a larceny barrel proof or anything about that at the end. Glass 2, I ran out, so I'm just going to call it ECBP. All right, let's get to it. Let's do the reveal, and then we'll do the giveaway, and then we will call it a night. Glass 2, I say this is a Heaven Hill bourbon. Hang on. Change the music. I say this is a Heaven Hill bourbon. Not finished. I said 125. That might be a little hot. I don't know. Grains, I said corn, barley, rye. Because Heaven Hill is barley secondary. Said ECBP, 12 years. Number 2. Damn. Makes sense. It drank over proof. So wow, I said earlier in the stream I was not the biggest fan of this. Oh wait. Why does it say Kent Street? Oh, Kentucky Straight Bourbon. It's like, what? Kent State, Kent Street. Rebel 10. Rebel 10 on that glass, huh? Honey roasted peanuts is right. Wow. Wow. I just messed that up. But I said age 12, it's 10. Interesting. Very interesting. Darn, I'll have to eat that one. Yeah, guys, last reminder. We're going to do the giveaway after this. Every $5 super chat gets you an entry to win a bottle of Lux Row 12 year. Brand new unopened bottle of this. I tasted it earlier. It is incredible, and I know you're going to love it. And I'm not just saying that, I promise. And the second place winner, after 7 spins of the randomizer for both of them, is going to be winning a sample pack of my 3 open batches of Lux Row 12, a sample of Matt Porter's ADHD whiskey Nulu toasted apple brandy finished bourbon. And then you're going to win a 1 ounce sample of everything that's in this blind flight right now, which we're about to get to the end of. Glass 3, I said this is I went back and forth. Brown Foreman, 4 Roses. Thought Brown Foreman first. I said 4 Roses, OESK. That was kind of a shot in the dark, but corn rye for the grains, primary and secondary. Age 9.5, not finished, 108 proof. Barrel strength, single barrel pick. Wow. Wow. That makes sense now. That black pepper note makes a lot more sense. And I said banana. I literally said banana. Oh, I said freaking banana, dude. And I was like, oh, it's Brown Foreman. Well, Barton and Brown Foreman share a profile. Oh my God, it's so obvious on the nose. Hang on. Dang. All right. I thought this was an OESK. I actually don't even own an OESK. I have an OBSK. Those have more similarities than I thought, but dang, makes a lot of sense now. Sam Houston, 15 year. Dang. Man. Thank you, Hendo. I got you, man. I see you now. $10, 2 more entries. I want all that. Cheers. Thanks, man. Well, dude, I'm over here not doing so well in the blind flight. The thing is, I cold proof 108. That's 103. Age 9.5. It's 15. Yeah, that's no point. It makes so much sense now, but I mistook a few things in there for a... Yeah. That makes sense to me. There's no excuse for it, but it makes sense to me why I said that. Dang, man. Okay. What was my face? Oh my god. Oh no, what was my face? You guys are killing me in the chat. Oh man. We got more Venmo going in, huh? Yeah, one MoCast. Kyle, in for... So, Amy, if you can get... Kyle or one MoCast in for 4. Oh, I got it. Thank you. You got it. It's medicinal cherry, Joe. It's I did say medicinal cherry, and then I went Brown Foreman, and then I went 4 Roses, which a tier 5 and tier 6 will get that way. That's crazy, man. That's totally crazy. I like it. I've always loved it. William Davilar. Hey, man. Dude, thank you. In for Amy. Much appreciated, man. Thank you. All right. Last one. This is what I had no idea. Look, this is... Can I just... Hang on. Let me smell and taste this one more time before I lock in my answers. How did I not smell that first? Jeez Louise. It smells finished now. In some ways. It smells brandy finished to me, but I'm not going to call that. Well, maybe I will. I think that might be finished. So let me give you my initial guess. Turkey non-chill filtered. Then I said 121 proof. Bourbon wild turkey. Corn and rye, 2 grains. Age 6 to 12. Okay. What would I guess now? I smell a lot of corn on this. It tastes young. It tastes young. There's a sour bitterness to it, which either suggests that it's really young or that it could be finished. Age on this? Man, I don't know. I'm going to go down to 117 proof. I'm going to go age... I don't know. I'm going to say 6. Bourbon. Part of me says it could be finished. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick with my original guess, and I'll move the proof down to 117. I don't know. God bless America, dude. Oh. You know what's crazy about this? You know what's crazy about this being bomb burgers? I literally said, like I did in Glass 1, but I really meant it on Glass 4. I'll just say that. Wink, wink. Seriously, though, I said this could be Michter's Barrel Strength Bourbon. And it's freaking bomb burgers, which is high proof Michter's Bourbon. 108 proof. I just moved my proof down at the end, so I feel better about the fact that I was recognizing it was a little lower. Bomb burgers does drink hot. So I said it was closed off. I should have... Usually that means a higher proof, and it wasn't. I said at the end there, it felt like it could have been finished. Bomb burgers is super cherry. Yeah. But still young. I didn't get anything about that. Except possibly the age, because it's probably young. Man. That was a hard flight. Larceny Barrel Proof C922 over to Rebel 10 Year, so 2 wheaters in a row, high and low proof. Then to Sam 15, then to Bomb Burgers. What's crazy is Sam 15 and Bomb Burgers both have like cherry notes, you know, in different ways, but it's funny how she kind of grouped this flight together in 2 pairs. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. William Dabbler, thank you, man. Have a good night. Appreciate it. I appreciate you entering for Amy. That's awesome. William Hall, I don't have Dabbler on my... To Amy Bohm. Nice, 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 nice. So, William, in for 2 for Amy then. I know, Will, I know you've been drinking a little bit, so I just want to make sure. But I think that's 2 for Amy, right? Just confirm. Just confirm for us that those... Is that 2 for you or 2 for Amy? For Amy. Okay, good, for Amy. Just want to make sure. Man. Sarah did me dirty tonight. This was a hard flight. So whoever wins the second place in the giveaway, you get to do this flight. And you're not doing it blind, I guess, but I'll tell you this, it's a hard flight. Side by side. And now I'm going back to Larceny C922. And it smells good. So maybe it's just because I know what it is. And I know I like it. Oh, it smells like freaking sorry. I'm going to go waffles, not pancakes. It smells like pancakes and syrup. No, I said waffles. I said I'm going to go waffles, and I said pancakes. I'm going to go waffles and syrup on this. You could say pancakes, but I like waffles. Waffles and syrup. Oh, my goodness. We got another... Hey, Amy on Venmo. Adam Baskerville, which I inputted his name early on in row 9. Adam Baskerville is in for 1 more for him and 1 more for you. Just to let you know. Thank you, Adam. That's awesome. I appreciate all you guys entering for Amy tonight and showing her some love. She's been killing the tracking this evening. And Amy's just a badass. She sent some crazy stuff my way. And just incredible supporter of Drums and Drams. I don't even know. I mean, you know. It's just one day I hope to meet a lot of you people. And I say you people, and that sounded very bad, so I shouldn't have said it that way. I just hope to meet a lot of you folks. Folks sounds nicer than people. I hope to meet a lot of you people. No, seriously, I hope to meet a lot of you out there in the chat and you know, in person, share a pour with you guys, because, wow, I don't know. You know me, I'll just cry on a freaking... You drop a pen, I'll cry. Travis Jewell, in for 1. Had never had any of those bottles on the table. Newbie here. Well, Travis, you're in for 1, and we'll see. We'll see what we can do for you in the giveaway. Toshi, I've also had a few. Overall, though, I think I'm, all things considered, doing pretty well. Oh, it's maybe? Shauna, did I say y'all? Did I say y'all? What did I don't know. Okay. Oh, okay. This might have been Amy. Let me confirm this. It could have been actually PayPal. Yeah, I think so. Give me just a second. So Abraham Rodriguez, which I would imagine is Abrod, had one entry. Abrod had one entry on PayPal for me. I don't know if there was a super chat entry there, but just one on PayPal. Oh, Toshi, get it, man. 07 William LaRue. That's awesome. Roy, if I'm in SoCal, I will let you know, man. Did I say... So I said y'all? Dang, man. I'm sorry if I offended. I'll have you know, I grew up in a small town in southern Ohio. I can't claim it, really. It was only like the first 4.5 years of my life. But it was a small town. And I got a little y'all in my blood, but not enough to say y'all, so I'm sorry. Sorry. All right, let's do the giveaway. Let's cut the giveaway off in, what time? 10:41? I don't want to go to 45. Let's say 10:43 the giveaway's cut off. So like a good 75 seconds until the giveaway's done. If you guys want to get a last-minute super chat in or whatever. If you don't, that's fine. You've been so freaking generous tonight. I can't say anything about it. I mean, yeah, incredible amount of super chat entries. Thank you all so much. Just good old me. Yeah, we got your 2 entries from a bit ago, yeah. Toshi says y'all. Nice, man. All right, nothing wrong with y'all. Man, so tonight, I mean, there were some pours that I did okay on, some that I really missed the mark. And I actually do better when I think I do better when bottle guesses are not involved from my own stash. Like, that makes it confusing, but if it's just double blind stuff sent from other people and I'm just guessing stats first and foremost and the bottle guess comes second, I think I do better on that. Which is why I like to have people send me flights for that reason, you know? Because it takes my mind off of thinking through what I own. You can only naturally go there. You just can't, like, you can't help thinking about that stuff. All right, we got a few subscribers tonight. That's awesome. That's really awesome. I'm just checking in on YouTube right now. So yeah, got a couple subscribers, which is great. Ewans, says John Cloud. Austin says, thanks for doing these awesome giveaways. Bottles I generally never see, so I appreciate it. Yeah, man, of course. I try to keep a good stash of bottles to just give away. It's like, I've always said this on YouTube, and I mean it. If you love them, let them go. If I have a bottle, there are a few exceptions to this, like really expensive or just stuff that's special to me. Otherwise, if I get a backup of something, I'm giving it away. It's like someone else needs to drink this. Because I could hoard it, I could drink it over the next couple years, but someone else should enjoy this bottle. And this Lux, like when I cracked it, I was like, yeah, I got to give that away because it's really good. And I try to do that with a lot of stuff. All right, guys. Yeah, it does taint your guesses, Will, if you're guessing bottles the whole time. And you can't help but think about it when you're thinking of your own collection. You can't hedge against your own collection. You know, it's a different mindset. All right, let's do the giveaway. So, Amy, first off, guys, please, everybody in the chat, thank Amy. Give her a round of applause. Cheers to her for tracking giveaways tonight. We're on a shared Google Doc right now, or a Google Sheet, and I can see everything she's tracked. And I'm going to openrandom.org very quickly. And then I got to share my screen, and I'll show you guys the process. We run this 7 times. And the 7th time, number 1 gets the bottle, number 2 is going to get the flight. And this should go out tomorrow with all of the other boxes that are now finally packed. Okay. Pulling this up. It was a good flight for learning. This is the best attitude. Okay. Amy, happy to send another. Amy, you've done so much. Especially the last thing that you sent. Jeez. Okay. So let's share the screen. Oh, no. And we can pull the close cam out of it. Okay. There we go. Okay. I can shrink my email. And now, here's the shared Google. Nope, that's not the shared one. That's the one I pulled up before I. Okay, here's the shared Google Doc or Google Sheet. Okay, and then the populated list is here. This long list of super chats. Right, so it's all copied, and it's now pasted into random.org. Top 2 after 7 spins. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's the last one, number 7. And let me just say, again, before we do this, thank you all for entering. Thank you for supporting the channel. Whether you did it for the channel, for the bottle, for the samples, whatever the case may be, I appreciate all of you. Thank you, Amy, for doing all of this. You guys are awesome. Last spin. Boom. There it is. So we've got Will Davilar winning for Amy for the Lux Row 12. And look, that's only fitting. Amy is the badass of badasses. Congrats, Amy. And Chris Bruce in number 2 for the sample giveaway. So there we have it. There we have it. Amy winning. Congrats, Amy. And thank you, William Davilar, for the entry. So, Amy, this will come to you with the sample pack, which includes the Armagnac and the Michter's Toasted Barrel Rye and some other stuff. Bring me back in. There we go. So, congrats to Amy. Now, Chris Bruce. Chris, are you still in here? If you're not still in here, I'll try to find you elsewhere. But Chris, if you're in here, email me. Or if you watch the replay, I'll throw this on the screen. There we go. Got to look over there's a camera in my way. drumsanddrams@gmail.com. Chris Bruce, Christopher Bruce. drumsanddrams@gmail.com. Email me with your name and your address. And if you do that in the next 16 hours, that'll go out for you tomorrow. So I'll leave this on the screen in case he watches the replay and everything else. But Amy, thank you and congrats. That's awesome. You get a Lux Row 12 to Amy, have you ever had a Lux Row 12? Chris Bruce is here. So Chris, email me drumsanddrams@gmail.com and shoot me your address. Obviously your name. I know what you won. If you want to put that in the message, doesn't hurt. I'll make a quick note here. And Amy, I'm going to include the 2 samples of the other Lux Rows for you so you can do that comparison. She's never had any of it. Awesome. Well, I'm excited then. Michael S., good night to you, and thank you, man. Thanks for jumping in, for supporting and everything else. Wow. So here's the deal. To be wrapping up a stream right now with 99 people still here. I know it's dwindling. We did the giveaway. It's been almost 3 hours. That is crazy for Drums and Drams, and I just don't know what to say about it. So cheers to you guys. I'll wrap this up with a little, let's go Lux Row 12. Let's go to Lux. Let's do a 50-50 blend of my 2 favorite Lux Row batches. We can wrap up with that. So, yeah, awesome. Just good old me says dropping good information, which is why I hung around. Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, thanks for being here. And I do my best, you know. Sometimes it gets a little nerdy. Sometimes it gets a little cringy. And hopefully that's not a bad thing all the time. But tomorrow morning, I've got a rehearsal 10 a.m. If any of you guys are into classical music, or even if you're not and you just maybe dabble in it or not at all, we're playing Mahler's Ninth Symphony tomorrow, which was his last symphony. And it's a pretty massive piece. You know, performances are usually between like 75 minutes and 90 minutes. Just kind of depends. Great piece. We got a great percussion section, Columbus Symphony Orchestra, playing with some good friends. And so it's going to be a fun weekend for me playing cymbals. And they built this... I could put a picture on the screen, actually, maybe. Let me see if I can do it real quick before we log off. Let me see. Let me see if I can throw a few pictures up on the screen before we log off here. Come on, phone. Unlock for me. This will just be for the people who stick around for the next couple minutes. But this is a little what's going on in my life. Let's just put it that way. All right, hang on. Just got to airdrop a few things to my computer real quick, and I'll show you guys, and then then we can log off here. Oh, there's some pictures of Sarah and I at dinner the other night. God, I love her. All right. Eric, you ever do anything with the Milwaukee Symphony? No. So, like, I play regularly in the Columbus Symphony. Sometimes I go on tour by myself, and I play as a soloist with other groups, but I've never played in Milwaukee. So, I have played in Wisconsin, Stevens Point, so I was just kind of hanging out in the... Stevens Point, there's not a lot going on. So, all right. Let's see if I can pull these up. Oh, HEIC. I wonder if that format will upload to StreamYard properly. Might have to convert it to a JPEG very quickly. God, I look terrible in this picture. You guys are going to see this. Wow, that's not great. I'm wearing a dad sweater and skinny jeans. Doesn't get much worse than that. All right. You guys ever look at yourself in a picture and go, why did I appear in public like that? That happens to me a lot. All right, let's upload these things. I got them finally. I need to do it as an overlay. We can do 3 at a time. Good. All right. So anyways, that last one, yeah, there it goes. Oh, there we go. Mahler, dark brooding, but not as much as Berlioz, especially Symphony Fantastique. Yeah. So we're doing Mahler 9. So Symphony Fantastique requires these big bells. Mahler 9, which I'm about to show you in a second, requires giant chimes. And so I'm playing cymbals on this concert. And you guys are like, oh, it's just cymbals. Surprisingly, cymbals are one of, if not the hardest percussion instruments to play. I mean, yeah, you have marimba, you have vibraphone, you have like mallet instruments that are set up like a piano. But cymbals, there's a lot of like nuance that goes into playing cymbals. A lot of people overthink it. I do too, but at the end of the day, it is a hard instrument. Amy, we're working on this. We're working on this. The tiny drams, which I actually have the picture in here. We are working on some tiny drams. Come on, that's a great logo. We're going to get to it. We've been talking about this a lot. Keith, it's coming. It's coming. I'm sorry. Tomorrow. So this is here's a photo. This is what the rehearsals actually look like. Okay, so you can see me in the back left. There's 4 percussionists in the back left, and then you can see in the very back, directly in the center, is the timpanist Ben, who was my, he was my teacher at one point, but Ben is in the back center. The timpanist, he taught me one semester of lessons at my university, and it's cool to play with him now. And then you can see that thing to the left. There's a timpanist in the back with the 6 giant drums. Or what does he have? Yeah, he has six drums, I think. Does he have 7? Either way, you can see him in the back. The thing to the left of him, our left, as you look, there's like a platform with stairs and 3 big chimes. All right. So you can. This is me, looking like a friggin' goober on that platform. So those are my 3 giant chimes that I end up playing at one point. I play in this concert. You can see here. This is my crash cymbal setup. So I've got a bunch of cymbals laid out, suspended cymbals, a bunch of hand cymbal pairs I've been trying out all week with different sounds for this symphony. Again, Mahler's 9th Symphony, which is awesome. You guys can listen to it. It's really long, but it's a great piece of music. And then this is me at the one moment I get to get up and play these giant chimes that we rented, which have to be hung from the ceiling. It's kind of crazy, but that's what I do. That's what I do for. I know, Jeb. My pants are too skinny right now, dude. I'm really rocking them skinnies, And it only looks even more ridiculous because usually I'm not wearing a poofy sweater, a poofy dad sweater. But Sarah bought me that sweater, so I wear it as much as I can because I love her. So yeah, I got some jeggings on in comparison to my sweater. 100%. Just good old me. I actually marched in the Blue Devils. Yeah, so I marched Blue Coats and I marched Blue Devils. So yeah, definitely marched drum corps back in college. Yeah, guys. So anyways, that's what I'm doing tomorrow. Tomorrow I have a dress rehearsal in the morning, and then concert tomorrow night, concert Saturday night. Trying to make good sounds with 20-inch cymbals. And what did it? No way, dude. Charter member of Crown and Scouts 9193. Damn. That's awesome. That is awesome. Jeb, bro, killing me on the pants. I know, Jeb. And look, since November I was down. So in 2022, January 22, I weighed 178, which, like, never been there in my life. I'm 5'7", so, like, 178 for me, 28 years old, like, everybody has their own weight, health, challenges, everything like that. I had never been there before. Basically hitting 180, after a big meal. And I got down 20 pounds in November of 22, which was great. I'm back up 10 now because stress, not eating right, like not enough time, doing 14, 16-hour days of work every day, getting back up there. So I got to get back down. So them pants are a little skinnier right now, is what I'm saying. Sandeep, good to see you, man. Good night to you. William, yeah, I'm 28. Baritone and youth, man. That's awesome. That is awesome. So you marched in 91 and 93. So one of my instructors marched cadets 91 to 93. He was a center snare of cadets in 93 that year. So you marched 93. So in the spring at a time when Kings go off to war, that show, the Cadets 93 show that won that year. My instructor in high school was the center snare for the cadets in 93. Yeah, man. Awesome. Have a great evening, everybody. 75 still left in chat. I appreciate you all. I'm going to say goodnight to all of you with this last blend of my 2 favorite Lux Row 12 batches. Congrats, Amy. Congrats, Chris, for winning that sample pack. Thank you all for your super chats, your support, your likes, your subscribes, everything else. Be back next Thursday. Let me make sure very quickly. Should be back next Thursday, unless something weird happens. And a video should be coming out sometime between now and Monday, Thomas H. Handy. I'm sorry to drop all these unicorn reviews, these BTAC reviews. I'm just trying to get them out and then get on to some new stuff. But I have the Thomas H. Handy already shot. I just need to edit it. And I'll probably get that done probably Saturday. I would think Saturday. Sunday at the latest. So, cheers, guys. 93 Cadets drumline did have some chops. That's the guy that got me into percussion, taught me everything in the early days. So, John Merritt, cheers to you, center snare of the 93 Cadets. Cheers to all of you out there watching. And I'll see you guys soon. All right.